welcome to another edition of the Journey with James show. I am glad, I'm elated, as a matter of fact, that you guys have decided to watch me yet again for this, the third episode of season 1 of the Journey with James show. I do not take it for granted. I am so thankful that you're giving this show and giving me a chance to be in your life in some part of your journey in life. And I hope that I can be an encouragement, an inspiration, or motivation for your life. I hope the guest that's on the show can be something for your life that's positive, something that can help you on your journey. Because I always say on the Journey with James, we're here to help motivate each other in this journey of life. Why not? We're in this together. Why not motivate? Why not inspire? Why not encourage one another in this thing called life? It could be so much better if we do that. So I am drinking here one of my favorites. One of the things I want you guys to know is a little bit more about me. And one thing you know, I am goofy, so we're going to get into a funny prank in just a moment. But one of my favorite drinks that I like to drink, I think I said but one of my favorite drinks that I like to drink pretty often is orange juice. And so in this mug, which the Journey with James mug is coming soon, by the way, I have some orange juice in here to sip on as I matriculate through today's episode. So let me take a sip and let's get started. Oh my gosh. And there's a particular brand that I like. I'm not going to say what the brand is because they're not paying me. So it's a particular brand that I actually like, that I always go to. And sometimes they're out of it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's never the same. But orange juice is orange juice, right? So today, I am goofy. Of course, you guys know I'm goofy. So I always like to start the show off with something funny, something to make you laugh, something to get you a smile on your face, to get some giggles in your tummy. And I love pranks. I said it all the time. And I don't know if you guys remember this guy. His name is Magic of Hot. I first discovered him maybe 8-9 years ago when he had a slew of pranks online that were just hilarious. And I'm going to highlight, there's a whole bunch of them that I do like, but I'm going to highlight just one of them on today before we get the show started. And this one is when he decided to put on a costume where he was a skeleton, or he had a skeleton body. And he was hiding under some kind of way. He was hiding under the chair or whatever. And he was able to drive through these drive-through restaurants and literally scare the people to death. So one particular one that I really love, and it's like a 3-minute prank, but I pulled one section that I want you guys to see. I love it. It gives me laughter and joy all the time. And like I say, look, we all here in this life together. Why not laugh? Sometimes things are funny. And this person was scared, and it just gave me such hilarity. And it got me through a lot of crazy days. So take a look at this prank and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's funny. Like I say, it's just having fun. And that person was very, very scared. As you can see, they were terrified of it. And I hope that they gotten through that. But it is funny. And I got to admit, it was funny. When I saw that, it still stands out to me today. It gave me such laughter because in a way, I feel like I would do the same thing. I would react the same way because I ain't got time for that. Anybody got time for no craziness like that? I don't want to see no skeletons come through the drive-thru. I don't want to see no monsters, no creatures, no spirits, none of that stuff. I ain't with all that. I ain't with it. And so I can identify in the frighteningness that this person had shown. It was definitely hilarious. And you can admit it was funny, right? Okay. So with all that said, I just want to say to you guys, I did a prank that I am not particularly proud of. And the reason I'm not proud of is because I almost got in trouble. And I felt like I was going to lose my job. It was funny, okay, I'll give it that, but I still got a little afraid because I think I went too far. And so my friend Wayne, I'm telling it, he had this thing called fart spray, or I forget the name it was called. It was fart spray, but it was a name to it. I don't remember. But I was trying to prank someone at one of my jobs, and I sprayed it in another department, and I sprayed it near somebody's computer. And so it's one of those things where you're sitting there, you're on a computer, and all of a sudden that smell just hits you like a thief in the night, just pop up on you. and I watched. I sit there and observe the people, and I watched. I should have recorded it. And oh my God, when I tell you I laughed so much, my whole guts was hurting. Like I couldn't even breathe. It was so funny because it was two people in there, and it was like, man, did you do something in your drawers? They were cussing each other. It was like, what in the world? Did you do something? I know you. The other one said, did you do something? And it was like, no, I didn't. They said, where's that smell coming from? They were looking under the desk. They were looking all through the cracks and crevices of the equipment in there. They were doing everything. And what got me almost got me in trouble is that they went and told their manager. And I just got a little afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, they really think something really big has happened, something that's funky, something that's dead in there, and I need to confess. So the next day I confessed, and it was like, please don't ever do that again. And so I see, I could be crazy. I shouldn't have did it, but it was funny. But I feel like I could have lost my job. I got into a lot of trouble in either way. All right, without further ado, we're going to be back in just a second. We're going to have a great show today. Actually, I have my friend Andrew Flores is going to join me in the James and Friends segment. He is talking about streaming, man. He's very passionate about that because, the writer's strike is going on right now. And, artificial intelligence is getting really big right now. And you also know streaming is a component of all that. So if you think about it, all three of them tie into each other. The artificial intelligence, the streaming ties into the writer's strike because it all can affect it. AI can write scripts now, even though it doesn't have emotions. And also streaming, they're complaining because they're not getting enough money from these streaming networks. So are they going to raise the price? We're talking about all of that coming up next. And we'll have part 2 of my interview with Austin Calhoun, who is my cousin. He has some nuggets to share with you about being grateful. I think you guys need to stay right here on this journey because it's going to be a good action-packed, inspirational, motivational, encouraging show. So stay with us. You're watching the Journey with James show. Walk with me on this journey as I share transparent stories of my life and others. We'll explore the ups and the downs, failures and successes, offering each other hope and advice that can help you on your journey. Laughter, thought-provoking convos, trending stories, and interviews. It's the Journey with James show. Hey, sometimes you gotta get up and dance. Enjoy your life, despite anything that you may go through. Just enjoy the fact that you are alive, that you can move, that you can groove, that you can do the two-step like me, that you can just have 2 left feet like me, but just enjoy the dance, the love, God. Be encouraged today, be inspired today, be motivated. Welcome back to the Journey with James show. We are having a good time already. I hope you guys enjoyed that prank that we just did. Of course, I didn't do it, but I love to show you guys pranks that other people do. And I did tell you guys before, don't prank me. I don't like it, okay? I like to laugh at it, but I don't like it. And I hear somebody over there laughing now. The person I'm actually about to introduce, I feel like he will actually probably work with my friend Mike on a prank to try to get me. I really believe they ain't cahoots together. So I don't know. I can't say that. But anyway, this is my favorite segment, on the Journey with James show. It's called James and Friends, and of course family too. And I'm gonna take a deep breath. Try to get some stuff together here. But either way, James and Friends is a segment where we have conversations. I have conversations with my friends about anything. It could be whatever they want to talk about in their journey in life, some trending topics, or just shoot the breeze. It's a impromptu, non-scripted conversation. And so today I have my friend, one of my newest friends. We've known each other maybe about 2 years. Andrew Flores. He is joining me now. What's up, man?
Hello, hello. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to be here too, and I'm all out of breath, man. You know, I kept going up and down my steps trying to fix this audio issue.
I figured you were laughing really hard at the prank. I'll have to check that out in post.
You did have to check it out in post. But you know, somebody that works at where we work at is the king of pranks. I call him the king of pranks because for years he has terrorized my life.
He does like to leave little fake cockroaches on your desk, I hear.
We're not gonna do that. Okay, I will say this. I think I got him first with the cockroach. I actually scared him first, and I think what happened is he got me back, and I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. So
you started it, though.
Everybody says I started, man. Somebody actually said today, one of the anchors of the show that we do said to me today, he said, trifling. And I said, you said it to me last week. And he's like, yeah, but do you know why I said trifling? I said, why do you call me trifling? He said, because I asked you how your sons are doing. And you said, they're good. And I said, are you corrupting them? And you told me, I told him, are you corrupting them? And he said, so I called you trifling. I said, no, it doesn't give you the right to call me trifling, though. It's disrespectful. So they always say it's me, but it's not me. I mind my business, right?
Yeah, sure. If that's what you want to go with.
We're going to go with that, man. But either way, look, I'm glad to see you, man. I'm glad that you have agreed to join me up here. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, you kept asking and asking for me to come on, and I finally, acquiesced and said sure.
Oh, so we're going to do this?
I will grace the show with my presence.
And then you woke up from the dream, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I had a good day. Sat in some traffic on the way over here, but
man, I remember that traffic. Man. Traffic is not a joke here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And we complain about traffic here, but I'm sure people are saying, like in Florida and all these other places like Georgia, they probably saying, you guys, I wish I had that kind of traffic. But traffic is traffic, and nobody wants to see it.
Yeah, I would never move to LA or something. That's like it takes you 40 minutes to go 2 miles down the road. It's crazy.
I get nervous. One thing I get nervous about with traffic is I don't want to have to go to the bathroom to do the number one or number two. And the exit is over there on that side. Cars are not letting you over. I fear that I'm going to,
That's a big fear of my sister's. She gets really nervous when we go on these roads, that don't have, they're like the express lanes that don't have exits for a while, and she hates going on them because she's so scared that she's going to have to go to the bathroom.
And that's something. Anybody out there have that same problem? I know that's not my journey or his sister's journey. Speaking of family, man, I want to talk a little bit about your family, man. How big is family for you?
Family is very important to me. I grew up in a Hispanic, I won't say a Hispanic household necessarily, but I grew up in a Hispanic family, with a big family. My dad is one of 8 siblings. He has 7 sisters, no brothers. And even though they're all spread out, we grew up around at least 1 or 2 of them at a time, and we would always, go and see them and go and see his parents, and my mom's mom was also living with us for a while until she passed away when I was kind of young. So yeah, I've always grown up around family members, and it's something that's very important to me.
Well, it seems like your sister was very important to you. How was your relationship with her?
So I have 2 sisters, just for clarification's sake. One older and one younger. I was talking about the younger one earlier, who's afraid of cars.
Driving. Yeah.
You're right. My older sister, her name was Shayna. She was technically a half sister. My dad was married before he met my mom.
Okay.
And his first wife passed away from stomach cancer. Before I was born. Okay. And then he had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, with that first marriage. And then he married my mom, and then had me and my younger sister. So 2 sets of kids there. But my older sister, back a couple years ago, also passed away from cancer, very sadly, which was obviously very hard. We were very close. She was someone who I could always go to with if I needed advice, no matter how awkward or whatever the advice was. Something you don't usually go to siblings with. I could go to her.
Close. Yeah.
Yes, it helped that she was a decent amount older than me. She was very wise even for her years.
Yeah.
And so she always had an answer for everything that I would take to her. And was just the light of the room, You always say that about people who once they're gone, they're like, oh, they were this. But you knew that about her when she was still here. She was special when she was still here, in a way that no one else I've ever met is.
Wow,
except for my wife. I have to. I can't throw my wife under the bus like that. My wife is obviously very, very special to me.
Yes.
But she was the kind of person that you strive to be like.
And I've heard you talk about her before, and when we met, you kind of told me about it and everything, and I just knew that she held a special place in your heart. And one particular reason why I know she really held a special place in your heart, because you remember her in a special way. What did you do to remember her by? What?
So after she passed, my sister and I decided that we were going to get matching tattoos. My younger sister. Obviously. So she got one that was a cancer ribbon that turned into a semicolon, because she had colon cancer. Then they had to remove part of her colon. So there was a joke between the two of them that she had a semicolon.
Oh, wow.
And then, but I got this tattoo. I don't know how well you can see that.
Okay. I can see it right.
Okay, excellent. So also a cancer ribbon.
Wow.
But I did this in part for her and in part for my mom. My mom also had cancer, so unfortunately my family's been through it. Yeah. My dad especially. But my mom, thankfully, is still here today. This was when I was very young and didn't really realize what was going on. They tried to explain it in the best way that they could. It was like, oh, she's sick and this and that. But, like I said, she's still with us, thankfully. So I got the pink for her because she had breast cancer, and that's the pink ribbon is for breast cancer, and the blue is for colon cancer.
Wow.
So I got the blue going on there.
I love that. I'm always blessed to have good friends in my life, and the close friends that I have, people in my life, they're just big on family. They're big on people. They have good personalities. They're good to people. And you are one of those people, man. I am amazed. I've never told you that. I'm very, very, I admire you a lot. Because you are a standout guy. When I met you, you're just who you are, and you're cool. And I will say that I watch how you interact with your wife, because I was invited to his house. You may not know he can cook. He can especially bake. But he invited me over to his home for a pizza. His wife bought him a pizza oven. Am I correct?
Yes.
And he made pizza from scratch, and it was really good. I can't even lie. And I wanted because I like to cook, so nobody can cook like Chef Boy James.
Right, of course, yes.
But he got me a little bit because he made the dough and everything, and I am horrible with baking, But he baked some good stuff. And you did tell me you was gonna bring me some s'mores cheesecake.
Yeah, I just had a slice right before we started this, actually. Okay. But I still have some for you. I'll bring it tomorrow.
Okay.
And you can maybe post in a comment or something and tell your audience how good it was. And
okay. Now, what if it's nasty?
Well, then don't say anything. But I don't think I took it to a small group. That's what I made it for. My church small group, and they seem to love it. So,
man, everything that you made has been pretty good. I think the last thing I've had was something chocolate cheesecake.
Yeah, I made a chocolate mousse cheesecake. Yes. That was a special request also. Anytime I make something, it's for the small group, especially a cheesecake, because my wife doesn't like cheesecake. Okay. But it's my favorite dessert. So any excuse I have to make a cheesecake, I'll take advantage of it. But then I always have to give it away to other people, because I can't just eat a whole cheesecake by myself.
So you said small groups. So what's your journey with small groups? Is this a part of a church?
Yeah, so this was a church that I went to when I was in high school because I lived in this area for the 4 years that I went to high school. So it was a church that I sort of grew up in, and it was the first church that I really went to that was that had a very strong theological basis. I moved around a lot because I was a military kid, and we went to a lot of very different churches, and they were all. It seemed like they were all preaching some nonsense, honestly, although I didn't know it at the time. I've heard some weird things, but we went to all types. We went to mega churches. We went to 100-person churches and whatever. But this church was the first church that that really formed a lot of my faith and my beliefs and what I believe specifically about Christianity and all that. And so I moved away to go to college. So I left that church kind of, but recently moved back, like I said, like you said, 2 years ago. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm not going to force you to like go to this church, but we can check it out for a Sunday. And then we'll just, if you don't like it, we can look for something else.
Right.
But we went there one Sunday and then we just, sort of kept going. And then, so now we're back into it, and we're in our own small group. I was in a small group when I was in high school, but I was in charge of like babysitting kids, so I wasn't like an attendee kind of yet.
Oh, you focus on the kids at that point.
Yeah, there was like I would take the small ones into a room and then would have to just like keep them entertained while the grown-ups talked.
Bless you. Keeping them entertained.
It wasn't too easy. It wasn't easy. But
I commend you on that, man. That's so good. And I did want to say this real quick that I like your gaming room, man. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
It's the cool over
there's
there.
a lot of stuff you can't see. I got like a TV over here and a thing. So that's something I like to do in my free time. Is I play games with my friends online and
yeah. You probably you'll never get me to play because I'm not a gamer. I'm horrible. I played with my sons, Madden.
Oh, okay.
They turn me up. I can't even lie. I mean, the score's like 100-something to 0. It's horrible. But I do it because they want me to, and I want to participate with that. But I don't particularly like gaming, but I love to watch it. I like to watch people game, if that makes sense. But yeah. So with all that said, though, we're going to get into streaming, though. You were talking to me a few weeks ago about streaming and how you think, because I feel like, I will say this here, cable is pretty much a thing that's, the cord. I feel like that's a thing that's gone in the past, pretty much in the past. I was surprised that I know someone that actually has cable, physical cable with a box and everything. I'm like, what? And I remember when I got rid of cable, my bill was like $170 a month. For my cable bill, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were introduced to streaming. Streaming's been here for a while. You had YouTube TV, Sling TV, all those things that gave you cable channels for a smaller price. And so I think everybody should be pretty much in the streaming world right now. But you told me something that was quite interesting. You told me that you think that streaming is going to shift or it's going to be some changes.
Right. So it doesn't seem to me that streaming is going to be able to stick around much longer, which is insane to say because, it's the way that everyone consumes content nowadays. Right. Mm-hmm. But, if you've been paying attention to the news at all, in the entertainment news, you'll know that both the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild are on strike right now. That's correct. And the reason they're on strike is because first and foremost, payment. They have received next to no residuals in the streaming world, not like they used to before when everything was on cable. Mm-hmm. Another reason is AI, which is kind of like a side thing. But so you have these. No one's working right now. No writers are writing. No actors are acting. And if the studios are going to have to come forward and make a deal, because honestly, I feel like the guilds are going to be able to hold out a lot longer than these studios are. These studios are losing hundreds of $1,000s a day with no productions going on. Meanwhile, the guild keeps getting huge payouts from other actors, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just gave the Actors Guild, I think, the biggest donation that they've ever received.
Really?
Yes. So, and then someone else shortly after did some other big donation as well. So they have a lot of money to be able to continue the strike. So if the companies that own these streaming services, Disney, Netflix, Amazon, you got Peacock, you got Paramount Plus, you got all these streaming services.
A lot of them. There's a whole bunch of them.
If they have to come forward and start paying a lot more residuals, then I don't see how they're going to be able to continue. The reason I say that is because they're already just losing tons and tons of money. The Disney-owned streaming services, which is Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu, they lost $1.05 billion in the first quarter of this year. $1.5 billion the previous quarter. Peacock lost $2.5 billion in 2022, and they expect to lose as much as $3 billion this year. So already they're just not making any money. And it's going to be a lot worse if if the guilds and the unions get what they want, which they should get what they want, because it's actually, you think when you hear actors are on strike because of pay, you think, oh, don't they have enough money? They're living in these multi-million-dollar mansions up in LA and this and that. But the truth is that somewhere in between 60 and 70% of actors in the guild cannot afford health insurance, or they don't qualify for health insurance because they don't make enough money, which is just absolutely crazy. I was reading an article, I have it right here, that says The Suits, which was a show, it aired on USA Today.
Yeah, USA.
So that show has gotten really popular on streaming.
Yeah.
I recently watched it myself, actually, for the first time. It was a good show. The writers of that show, even though the show was like one of the most streamed shows ever, 3 billion minutes streamed altogether, they were collectively paid, the writers, $3,000.
Say that again.
$3,000.
So you said 3 billion views.
3 billion minutes viewed.
And
they were paid $3,000 collectively, all of the writers.
A piece? Oh, whoa. What?
Which is a lot of writers. You have 9 seasons of a television show. Television shows usually have
a popular television show.
A good number of writers on there.
That's not fair.
It's not. Yeah, you see a lot of actors and writers posting their residual checks for these very popular shows.
Yeah,
it's like $20. And they have to live in LA to get these to be able to act in these shows and to write for the shows, and it's so expensive in LA. You need so many roommates. I heard a story. One person was on Netflix's most popular show at the time, and she was having to take an Uber because she couldn't afford a vehicle of her own to set every day.
It's a shock in a way, because you're right. Most people would think, oh, well, they got the money, they can do it. But when you really listen to it, they can't afford health insurance. I've actually seen an actress, I forget her name. She actually got on camera and said, she said, the reason I'm striking is I have to get a second job and I can't afford health insurance. So you're right in saying that. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And like I said, so if that changes and then streaming has to pay these actors and writers what they deserve,
right?
How much money are they going to be losing then? And, they're trying to raise prices to compensate for this. Disney Plus was $8 in December a month. They raised it earlier this year to like 11 or something.
Oh,
and now it's being raised. Now it's being raised again to like $14 a month, which is almost double in less than a year, which is crazy. But I don't think that these price raises are even going to be able to cover their losses. And so I just don't see streaming services continuing, at least in the way that they are, because I don't see people paying $20 a month for 6 different streaming services. Who can afford that?
Right. I guess my question to you is, what do you think is going to change? What do you think they will do, in your opinion?
It's something I've been thinking a lot about. I don't know if I have an exact answer because it's hard. I was going to do a lot of math. I thought I had an idea and I was like, oh, I'm going to like figure out if this is profitable or not. But because streaming services hide how many subscribers they have, and they hide what the residuals that they have to pay out are, it's really hard to gauge it if you're not in it. But it's a problem because people are now very used to these streaming services. So people are used to no ads. Everyone hates ads nowadays. They won't watch something if it has ads. And they like the convenience of them because you can just choose what you want to watch. When you want to watch it, pause it, download it, and do whatever. So it's very convenient. And I don't see a way for these companies to make more money and keeping that level of convenience. It's possible that they could look into some sort of a pay-per-view system, but I think that that's a hard sell because that would probably still raise the cost for the consumer a lot, unless they just stream less, which no one wants to do that. So the truth is, I really don't know what's coming next, but I think that something is coming. And my recommendation to anyone who is concerned about this is to just try to buy the media that you like, which is obviously way more expensive, but you can find deals, you can find sales, you can find boxes of multiple seasons of a show at Goodwill usually. If there's something that you really like watching and you like watching it over and over again, a good way to support the people who made the show and a good way to ensure that you will continue to be able to watch that show in the way you want to watch it or movie or whatever is, try to pick it up somewhere. If you can, I own a few shows on iTunes myself. I try to own some DVDs. I try to get some DVDs when they go on sale for Black Friday. You can usually find some for like $5 or $10. Okay. So that's something to look into if you have something that you keep going back to.
Wow. There's so many things changing in this world, man, and it's crazy. I mean, you mentioned AI briefly a little bit in the beginning, and AI has a lot to do with this whole writing thing as well, man, because they can literally write scripts.
Yeah. So one of the things that some of these companies were looking into was that they would have AI write scripts, and then when the writers come back, have them just, edit it, and these scripts are ready to go, which is obviously crazy because these computers, they're just taking what they see online and they're just sort of mishmashing it and throwing it out. I saw a quote literally just a few hours ago that said AI can't do what humans do because AI can't imagine. It doesn't have a mind of its own.
I'm scared they're going to start getting minds of their own. I'm scared that might happen. I'm a little scary anyway, so.
We'll get to that point one day where it's like, they're humans and then they're going to have rights and all that stuff.
I'm out of here. I don't like
it's coming.
Well, it needs to come when I'm done.
Yes, but they've also been, the actors are affected by this as well because they've been looking into, and actually they've already started doing this. They've been scanning actors, and they want to be able to use their likeness in whatever they want without their consent, which is crazy. So you could you can be asked to go in a trailer. They'll scan you. This has happened. People who have been on like Disney Plus shows have been scanned, and they didn't know what it was. Now they do. They want to be scanned, and then they just have your likeness, and they can put you in the background of a show, or they can put you as the main character, and then you would not be able to consent to what that likeness of yourself is doing. So that's another reason they're striking, is because they want to stop that.
So prevent that from happening. Yeah, it's like the big companies, all they're out for is for money. And if any way they can save money, they will do it. That's so greedy, man. It's selfish.
It's terrible. Publicly traded companies they owe their investors, profits quarter after quarter. They need to be showing that they're going to make more money next quarter, more money next quarter. So it's a tough situation to be in because they need to cut corners. They need to start doing this and all these scummy stuff to try to appease their investors, because the most important thing at the end of the day is their stock price. And I think that's a terrible way to do business. So, if you if you like own your own business, don't put it on the stock market for as long as you can is my suggestion, because that's when I think that's when you sort of sell your soul in a way, in a sense. Yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's terrible, and employees get mistreated all the time because of this. You hear horror stories of Amazon workers in the warehouses not being able to take pee breaks because they have to hit their quota. So it's a tough world we live in, and hopefully soon more laws and regulations can be put in place to protect workers, protect writers, actors, anyone has to work for a company like this.
Yeah. Journey is definitely hard right now for some people. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I just hope it gets better. And that this whole striking thing, I hope they come to a consensus and come up to an agreement. But of course, you're giving us a warning now. They may come up with an agreement, but it's going to cost us in the end. So I have to raise and have to do something. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but it's very interesting to note that a lot of people are probably thinking that streaming the way it is now is probably the future. But the way that you explained it, I don't even believe it's going to be the future like that. I like the way you said it here. It's spot on, man, because how are you going to pay the people?
Yeah, it's almost cheaper to go with like one of those streaming cable services you mentioned. You can get YouTube TV or Hulu for like $25
a month.
Yeah, and then
60 channels.
And then it's less convenient because like my parents have YouTube TV actually that I bum off of them, and I want to watch the show, but it's not just on there, so I have to like add the show to my library, and then as the show airs, it will record it, and then it will be available to me. But it's still like I have to now wait for the show to be recorded for it to air, so then it can be recorded, and it's like I said, it's not as convenient, but it might end up being cheaper in the long run once a deal is made, and once these services have to start charging $30 a month.
And like Disney Plus and I think it's Netflix. I mainly have it for my boys. My sons like watching shows on there, so I just started I got rid of Disney for a while. I just got it again maybe a few months ago, and then they send me a price increase thing. So I'm keeping it for my sons, but it's grinding my gears because when I tell my kids it's like $15, it's like it's only $15. They have no idea. If you add it all up with everything else, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Netflix just cracked down on password sharing, so I was bumming Netflix off as well, and I don't.
Oh, you was a bum.
I was bumming. It's okay. I get bummed off of as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a workaround situation. Right, exactly.
Maybe we should have a course on bumming 101.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to jail. I'm not.
Y'all just gotta, you gotta spread out the costs among you and your friends.
Yeah. They actually said the Netflix subscriptions went up, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. The crackdown happened, and then people got their own subscriptions, and it's like, well, now you're rewarding this company for doing something bad, and more companies are gonna do it.
What I was getting at. They're gonna say if it worked for them, it could work for us. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add before we take this break?
I don't think so. Like I said, if you have a show that you keep watching, like I know people they have these streaming services so they can watch The Office 50 times a year. If you have something that you like to keep watching, a good way to support the people who made it, and a good way to ensure that you're not going to get screwed over by one of these companies is just to find a place to purchase outright the show or movie that you really like. So I'd encourage people to look into that a little bit more.
That's some good stuff, man. Thank you so much for talking to me about that, man. I think it's so good to talk about stuff like that because we just don't know, and I don't think a lot of people really think about it the way that you have broken it down. So I thank you for that. But don't go nowhere because guess what? It's that time, the setup time, it's game time, and it's Would You Rather. And it's going to be hosted by Andrew. So stay tuned. You're watching the Journey with James show. Step into a new day, understanding that everything's going to be all right. Understand that you have grace, mercy, joy, love, peace, and happiness. Understand that whatever you may be going through, that God's got you in every step of the way. You can dance and know that everything's going to be all right. So be encouraged, be inspired, and be motivated. You got this. Welcome back to the Journey with James show. If you have not done this, do this now. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. You may be watching me on journeywithjames.net, but if you're watching me on YouTube and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Please like and please share it with other people that the Journey with James is here and it's going to be on every single week, every Monday at 11 a.m. So thank you guys for all your support. I really, really thank you. You have been a blessing. So please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend. Tell a family member. Tell somebody. Even tell your enemy. Hey, you never know. They might be blessed by encouragement. So do that. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get to our game time. My buddy Andrew joins me again. He is going to do Would You Rather. I am ready, buddy.
All right. I will hit you with one. Would you rather be a genius and know everything, or be amazing at any activity you tried?
Ooh.
Knowledge versus skill.
Yeah, I think I would rather say that again one more time.
Okay, I'll read it exactly as I said it. Would you rather be a genius and know everything, or be amazing at any activity you tried?
I better be amazing at any activity I try.
Okay, why?
Yeah, I just feel like I can be more creative, and I can do certain. I can just show my skill set. I love creating stuff. I love being skillful. So that's what I do now. So I would love that better than knowing everything and not being able to do anything. What about you?
I wonder. I think that I would rather be a genius because I feel like that
You're already
would.
a genius, though.
Well, yeah, of course, but I think that would sort of bleed into the other one more. You know, if I know everything, then I could probably also be good at a lot of things. Don't know if that's actually true, but like if I had knowledge on how to be a great writer, then I could just be a great writer. Obviously, it's not as easy as that. You have to apply yourself a little bit, but I feel like with knowledge, I could then be good at a lot of things that I would want to be good at. So,
I like that. Okay, I figured you were going to say that too. I feel like it, but yeah.
Do you want me to hit you with another one?
Hit me with another one. Hit me with another. I'm ready.
All right. Would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors, or go in the future and meet your great-great-grandchildren?
Great-great-grandchildren.
Okay.
I think I'm scared to go see the ancestors. If I'm thinking about it, because I'm told you kind of scary. I ain't with all that.
You just don't want to see ghosts? Is that what your thing is?
Yeah, we ain't going to talk about. Yeah, I ain't with all that. Just ain't with it. But at the same time, would they be go? I would love to see in the future, see my grandchildren. I think that's a beautiful thing. To know that my kids may have grandchildren in the future, and I can see it. I can see them now. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Maybe
And I
you'll see
think
them one day, you know, if you
my
live long
hope is
enough.
my hope is my glory, hallelujah, that I will be able to see him and plus more, you know. But what about yourself, man?
This one's a good question. I don't know a ton about my ancestors, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know that my grandparents came from Puerto Rico, and I think that their either parents or grandparents came from Spain.
Okay.
That's on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
So going to see them would be cool, but also there would be probably a language barrier because I don't actually speak Spanish. And I don't know. No,
You
I'm a
don't think
fake.
Aries?
I'm a fake Hispanic.
You a fake Hispanic.
But I don't really know what's going on my mom's side either.
Okay.
I just really don't have any knowledge of that. So probably I would say go to see the grandchildren. But if there wasn't a language barrier, I would probably say ancestors because I think it would be cool to see how they lived in Spain. You know, that's pretty cool.
I think it is pretty cool. And the fact that it's just a language barrier that will stop you from doing that. I like the fact that you said you would like to see your ancestors because you didn't know who they were. And at first I was going to say ancestors because I don't know my mom's side of the family at all. And I don't know a lot of my dad's side of the family. But I thought about the ghost thing, so I changed my mind. But I see where you're going with that. So, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, ready for the next one?
I think I'm ready. I'm nervous, but ready.
I have a little list here, and I was trying to pick out the best ones for you. This one's a little bit darker than the ones I just did, but I'll ask you this one. Would you rather lose your ability to speak or the ability to hear for the rest of your life?
I think I've had this question before on the Young and the Fearless podcast.
Oh, do you want me to ask a different one?
No, you don't have to answer this one.
Okay,
You can ask me another question, but I'm going to answer this because that was then, and this is where I'm at now. So I would say I would rather lose the ability to hear because I like to talk. I like to talk. I like to have a conversation, and the bad part is I can't hear you when I'm talking to you. You responding to me, I can't hear you, but I like to speak. So,
how would you do this podcast if you couldn't speak? You know,
what if I could speak but they can't hear me? I would just rely on. As well. Yes, I can still do the podcast. I just would be miserable because I can't hear anything, and somebody else will have to edit my show. I don't know who can do it. You know. Oh, I can get you to do it, Andrew.
I did take a video and audio editing classes. So,
yeah, but you also, if I should say, you worked at a local station just like I did, local TV station.
That's right. My first big boy job out of college.
Yeah.
I worked at a local news station, ABC 13, out in Lynchburg. Yep. I started as a intern. Then I moved to a production assistant, so running cameras and audio and the graphics, basically. And then I eventually became a director there. So I did all those things. And then I also directed the 7 o'clock newscast every week, or every weekday, 3 days a week. And then I did the weekend shows. So I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed doing that job. Growing up, I always said I wanted to be a director, and I meant a movie director, but I still did it kind of. I was a director.
Yeah, well, I think as I'm not being able to hear will affect my job. Like, cause I come from local station WTKR3 in Norfolk. Woohoo! I was there for like 7 years, and I did the same with you. I actually started off as a production tech, and I did the graphics and the camera. And they were getting ready to get me into lighting, but I left at that point. But it was a great experience, man. It's so fast paced, but you get the adrenaline rush. It can be kind of hectic, but I love it. And we don't get it now. It's kind of slower paced where we are now, but I love it.
Yeah, one of my skills has always been to be calm in very intense situations and to sort of analyze the situation and know what to do next. And being a director served that skill very well because things would go wrong constantly, and you had to make the quick decision on what to do next and how to make it better. I knew someone who trained to be a director before me, and no offense to this person, they're great. but they just didn't have that skill. And so if something went wrong, it sort of turned into an avalanche of issues because they didn't know how to fix it.
I know.
And so it would be way worse than it needed to be. So I was thankful that I was able to find a job for a little bit, at least, that I was able to take advantage of that skill.
Yeah.
And, I'm not perfect, obviously, but there were many times where I had to make a quick decision. Usually the decision was cut to weather, because the weather person can always be relied upon. But
yes, they're like, oh, again.
Yep, I'm like, get him out there, get him in front of the green screen. He's gonna have to talk while I figure this out. But
yes, you're gonna try to figure it out. I get it, man. Any other questions you have? Would you rather?
Yeah, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck?
What?
This is the most serious question I'm going to ask you tonight.
Let me get serious.
Okay, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck?
First of all, elephant-sized duck is scary as crap. I don't want to do that. So I'll go with 100 little elephants that look like ducks.
I think for the first time in this game, we're in agreement. I would fight. I could just be kicking them elephants around. What are they going to do to me?
Yeah, but that big one, that duck, the one that the duck looked like an elephant.
Yeah, that thing could eat me. I'm scared of normal-sized ducks. I don't want.
Anybody got time for that? Anybody? You scared of normal-sized ducks? Is that a revelation?
I think your headphones are broken. I don't know. Okay, not ducks, but geese are very scary. I've been chased down by geese a lot in my life, and I don't like geese.
Oh, it traumatized you. It's like Chucky. Okay, I got you.
This was when I was in high school, by the way. I was getting chased down by geese. They're vicious creatures. Don't mess with geese.
Yeah, don't mess with geese, I guess. Yeah. Oh, man, thank you so much for joining me on today, man, on my segment, James and Friends, man. You are a great friend, and I appreciate you. Oh, I need to ask this question because I said on the first season of this show, I want people to get to know me a little bit more, and I also like to hear what people think about me and my friends. So I wanted to know, what are three things that describe you?
Well, you've said that you've heard this one before, so I'll just start out with this one, but I would say funny. James is a very funny guy. Yes.
Couldn't be.
I know this is not the first time you've heard this, so don't act surprised.
Oh, my goodness.
He doesn't like to think that he's funny, but he is.
I'm being for real.
Yeah, well, two other words to describe you. I think very caring is a word I would say. I think that you're always there to lend an ear out whenever someone needs it, unless you're busy with one of your shows or something like that. There's my third word, busy. He's always looking at some email or something, which is not a bad thing, by the way. He's a hard worker.
I can't help it. The phone's always going off. I get the work phone. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mine too. I was in small group, like I said yesterday, and I got 3 notifications from the Regent Police Department about phones being down. I was like, why did I get this 3 times? That's crazy. So I get it. I receive half the emails you do, but it's still a lot. So
still a lot, man. I understand. And so I always like to give back what you give me. So thank you for that, man. But 3 things I would say about you. The first thing that comes to mind is intelligent, man. I wasn't playing when I think you're like a genius. I feel like you're a very intelligent person, and that's a good thing about you, man. Also, you're you're a very caring person. I feel like you're the type that will give the shirt off your back if you could, and you always want to see people happy. And I love your spirit and how you can change a room just by being you. I really don't see you upset or anything like that. You just have this calmness about you, and I think that's a great thing. And the third thing is that you're actually funny, man, but you're funny in a way that's real slick slide. I like the word slick slide. You'll say something. It's one of those things like you say something and sometimes you got to think about it. You say, well, wait a minute. You're very good at that. And I see that Mike has taught you well. So with all that said, I am so thankful that you're my friend, brother.
Thank you. Those are very nice words. I never have seen myself as a very intelligent person, but
Really?
I mean, not like I don't think I'm dumb or anything, but there's a lot to learn every day.
It is, yeah. But I feel like you got it, man. So
Thank
and
you.
so good luck with your schooling, man. I
Thank
know
you.
it's tough. I ain't doing it anymore, not right now. But
Well, good luck to you when you go back to school eventually, very soon. I'm sure.
did we talk about this?
I'm sure that. Are you going back to school?
I don't think I am. I went
Okay.
back for my doctorate,
Right.
but I took some time away because it's just, ooh.
You got to be Dr. James though. That's just too cool. You got to do it just to be known as Dr. James.
Okay, well, give me the pressure. But right now, the answer is I can't do it right now. But God is good, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I am still okay because this has been a journey. My journey of even trying and attempting to get accepted was enough for me because it just shows that when you really try and put your mind to it, you can do anything. Because I would have been the first one in my immediate family. Says that that will probably get a doctorate degree. But with all that said, man, I'm just thankful that I'm able to trust God and do what I got to do and be uncomfortable because it could be uncomfortable sometimes when you go out there for these goals, man. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
But I always remember that I always say this: growth takes courage.
Yes.
And the only way that I've grown, and even being here to do this little talk show here, is because of the growth and me taking the courage to be brave enough to get up here and be vulnerable, every week, man. So
right.
Thank you for being a part of my journey, man.
The journey with James. Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of it.
Thanks, man. I'm looking for my cheesecake tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't let me be the last person. You know how that goes.
You got to come in and see me, but yeah, I'll have it. I'll have it.
See, you getting? I'm trying to lose weight, man.
Me too. It's not working, but I'm trying.
It's not working, man. I'm trying. But I did drink almost a gallon of water yesterday.
Okay.
Remember that I didn't say it today, but I'm working on it one day
Very
at a time.
good.
All right, man. I'll let you go, man. But thanks for joining me on the Journey with James, man.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the Journey with James show. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with my friend Andrew and that you guys enjoyed that game of Would You Rather. It was really good, I must say. And I just want to tell you guys, you remember last week when I had a conversation with my cousin. He's my cousin, but he's like a brother and best friend, one of my best friends. His name is Austin Calhoun. We found each other maybe 5 or 6 years ago through DNA, the 23andMe DNA. And when I first saw him, it's just like a Facebook. You can put your picture there on the 23andMe interface or whatever. And when I first saw him, and when other people saw him, it was like, oh yeah, that's your cousin. Because some people say we look alike. Even someone said last week, they sent me a message that said, y'all look like twins. But with all that said, I connected with this guy. We created a special bond that we both didn't realize that was going to happen. We have officially not met each other yet, but we've talked to each other nearly every day for the last 5 or 6 years. And the time is coming where we will meet. And the reason why I didn't meet him officially yet is because he's an international basketball player. So a lot of times he's out of the country playing. If it's from France or Tokyo or whatever, he is out of the country. So we always communicated through a phone or, FaceTime or whatever. And, just have conversations. So we created a bond because of that. And we're going to meet each other soon because he's not in the country right now. But without further ado, I want to introduce you again to my cousin, Austin Calhoun, who I'm really encouraged by him because he's gotten me through a lot of things, especially with my divorce and especially through some things I've gone through personally in my life. He has been a big help in that. He has given me so many gold nuggets that has helped me, even with my relationship with God, making it even stronger. So take a look and you'll see why he is one of my inspirations. Here's the second part of Austin Calhoun's interview. You have so many good nuggets in your life, man, that you can share. I didn't know where to begin, like from finances on to just life in general and how to deal with relationships and friendships. Mm-hmm. And
So let's just say I'm gonna just put some out there, and I'm gonna put a scenario out there, and then you just give me what you would do. Maybe this will help somebody.
Okay.
So let's say that you have someone in your life that's you know you love them, but they keep it seems like they only call you when they need something, and then they get upset. They make you feel away when you don't do what they say or you don't come to their rescue. But the minute that you want them or need them, they're nowhere to be found. So in that scenario, how do you deal with it internally? Because I know for me, I've been there. It affected me emotionally. It affected me. It caused problems for my life because I held it on my shoulder. I just couldn't believe that somebody would do something like that, or they only want me when they need. So how can you get away from that and love from afar without being disrespectful, I guess?
For me, it's slowly taking time to be away from them. The internal part is the difficult part because once someone tries to lean on you in that way, they kind of put you under a microscope. Every decision that you make, like you said, hey, man, can I borrow $5? And as soon as you say no and you use $5 to pay for this meal, then it's just going to be like, man, you had it. So how you internalize it is important. One thing I do is I always extend grace, whether I agree with them or I don't. To me, everything starts with gratitude. So I always look at it as I'm grateful that they feel comfortable enough to share that with me and to feel as though I'm able to help them in that way, even if I feel as though, hey, man, you only want to speak when you need something. I just process it as emotionally, they're not as far along as I am on my journey. And I'll have a more difficult time trying to force them to get to where I'm at versus me just accepting them for where they're at. So I'll slowly start to distance myself, but I'll still be there for them in an emotional way to some extent in hopes that they'll eventually grow on a path where I think that they need to where they'll realize like, hey, the way I went about those things wasn't right. I kind of was just trying to pull instead of not seeing things from a higher perspective and really seeing what I can give as well as what I can receive. But for me, things and situations like that bother me just because people will watch other people do that to you and will see how it impacts you.
Yeah.
And see what how that affects you, and then
try to use it against you.
Try to use it against you, and further on down the road, they'll be the same ones trying to do the same thing. And it's just like, you've seen me in this situation so many times with others, and now I'm in this situation and circumstance with you. But it's tough. You know what I mean? I try to be direct with people in that regard. Sometimes in the past, I've had a habit of saying things that may seem open-ended where it can be left for interpretation. Whereas nowadays, man, I try to be as direct as I can, even with my questions. And if they're not able to respond directly to a direct question, then I just accept it for what it is and just let them know, hey, I see that we're not on the same page. I'm not going to try to force myself to be on the page that you're on, and I'm not going to try to force you to be on the page that I'm on. This is where I'm at. And I'll let them know where I'm at. If you end up getting on this same page, let me know. In the meantime, man, check in, holler at me or whatever. I'm going to check in with you. But that's just going to be the extent of it. I'm not going to add any extra things to it because that may end up making us get turned off and we just can no longer be friends, or if we're family, no longer, love each other like family members or brothers or cousins or whatever the case may be. And I don't really think that I'm not the type to really try to risk or roll the dice and gamble a friendship or a brotherhood and things like that. But a lot of times other people are, like you said, they'll try to make you feel bad.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And once people try to do that,
it's manipulation.
It's manipulation and it's immature. And once that happens, man, I usually just tell them, man, one day you're going to understand and see things from my perspective and see where you went left. And when you are, man, I'll be here to talk. You know what I mean? in the meantime, man, I cannot allow, that type of negativity to enter my inner matrix. I just can't. I have too much going on that depends on me having a healthy mindset.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I make this left instead of make this right, everything could come crashing down. You know what I mean? And I can have bad periods, bad moments, but I can't stay and dwell in those moments. I have to always get myself out of it.
Oh, that is so good. And as you was talking, I was thinking about how much I've grown, even in how I respond to people. I'm getting so much better. You see me, but just the growth, I can tell you for sure. Growth definitely takes courage. And I remember times where I would write something or a text message, something I want to say, get off my chest, and I would literally write it, and then I would erase it, and it just respond in kind, or, I would want to say something to somebody, but I don't say it. I just let them talk and let them say what they want to say. Let them believe what they want to believe. Because I realized that I have to grow up and be mature enough not to stoop to that level and understand that sometimes people go through things and it's not even you necessarily. They just lash out on you. And so I, like you said, the grace thing, you helped me with that. And I know that in the word, God gives us grace. And so it's good that you reinforce what I already know. But grace is definitely important. It is definitely important to give grace, but at the same time, you still have to protect yourself. Grace doesn't say you can walk all over me. Grace doesn't say that you can just treat me any kind of way. Grace says, I'm going to give you, you can do what you want. I'm going to forgive you, but you're not going to get in my inner circle until you get yourself together. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to be there for you, but you ain't going to take advantage of me. So that's so good. So we almost done, man. Two things. I meant to say this in the beginning. I've been asking all my friends and family this question. So, a lot of people don't know who Journey with James is. I'm really pushing myself with this show, man. I'm really
Hey, man, that's what you got to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
And and growth takes courage, man. And so I want people to get to know me a little bit more. And so I always ask my friends and family, what are 3 things that describe me? And then I give them 3 things to describe you.
All right. So 3 things to describe you. One of the things I would say is genuine. From the moment that, we've been having our dialogue and things like that, man, you've always been genuine, and not just with what you give, but genuine with what you receive as well. You've been the same, which transitions me to what that second thing would be, which is consistent. You know what I mean? As much as we've had our conversations and you've, given me insight on just things that you've been through, that part of it was attached to people being inconsistent in some way, shape, or form, for you to still be able to be genuine and consistent in the same aspect and not allow, that journey to change that aspect of you is a testament to, who you are and your core values as a person, man, and a father. You know what I'm saying? If you know you in any capacity, if you know you like I know you, or if you just met you today, you're going to know how much you love your boys. You know what I'm saying? And even when you're not around them, you're thinking of them, thinking of how you can impact them, what you can do better for them, how you can create something for them, how everything is just going to be centered around them. So those are the 3 things, man. And we can't leave that third one out.
Man, give me I'm a sentimentalist. Man, I gotta be. I already cried on the first episode like a little baby. I choked. You know how you cry and your voice crackle?
Yeah.
Man, I done pulled out and I know my voice crackle. I appreciate that, man. And 2 things for you. First thing that comes to mind is loyalty. You are extremely loyal, and you are a man. You're not a man that just talk. You actually show. And that is so important. People can talk a good game, they can say what they want to say, but your actions show it. Everything that you have instilled into me and poured into me, you have been consistent, and you have been definitely showing it. And whether it's pouring into me or it's something that you want to do with your life, or something you do with your daughter or your family or whatever, you are consistent in being loyal to what you say, being consistent in being who you are. So what you see is what you get. You are genuinely a good person. You're very kind. You're very thoughtful and methodic. And I like that. You don't just say things, you have a way when what you say, it means something. It has something powerful for the world to see. And so I appreciate that. And you're just a good person, man. It's really so many adjectives I could say that, you're just a good person. And so I am truly blessed that God had made it a place for us to connect. And not only that, to be related to each other. It speaks volumes. I'm blessed, man, to have you in my life. I am truly blessed, man. And the fact that we connected and stayed connected these 5 years says a lot about loyalty and consistency, which you have been in my life. And I know if you're that in my life, you're like that in everybody else's life. And you do extend grace to other people. Like you're just who you are. And I like that, man.
I appreciate that, man. Kind of like you said, man. Man, it means a lot when people who've taken the time to, really get to know you and be around you, and how you operate to, say those things, because, man, everybody doesn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't. And when you do give them good things, regardless of what happens, the good things people expected of you. The negative things is when they pointed out, man, I asked you for this and you were busy doing something else and you couldn't. So just being able to, you wanting to take that time in this show with all of your guests to ask that and then to respond with that, and is a reflection of your core values as a man, as a human being, that it's important not for you to just have dialogue back and forth with individuals and pour into them and have them pour into you, but to let them know directly, hey, man, this is what I think of you, and I'm able to receive what you think of me as well, man, because I'm telling people don't do that.
Wow. And it goes back to my theme. The Journey with James is about encouraging, motivating, inspiring. And so my thing is, why not encourage, inspire, and motivate each other? We're in this thing called life together. Why not do it? And so I want to be the example of doing that so that other people can follow suit, because this world is crazy right now.
Man.
I appreciate you saying that, man. Man, the more I do this show, the more I'm just like, okay, this is my element. This is what I need to be doing, man. So I thank you, man. And one last thing I want to say, man, and this is something that I've always held to a high standard. We talked about spiritual stuff, financial stuff. We talked about a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. But one thing that you told me about the prayer life is that we should always be grateful. Always be grateful, because a lot of times, and this is anybody, we can complain about things. You don't like the way this is or that is or whatever. But it's when we're grateful for what we have is when God really just blesses. Like, you have to be appreciative of what you have. And I always think about this. There's always somebody that wants to be in your shoes. You may think you're doing bad. And they be like, man, if I could just get that job they complained about, So we should always think about that. But I never forget when you said we talked a lot about being grateful, man. Just want to share a little bit about that, man, because every day when I pray, I say, Lord, I am grateful. And I just start naming stuff that I'm grateful for. Even if it's just the chair I'm sitting in, which has no arm on this side. Nobody knows it's an arm on this side. Yeah, I need to get a new chair. But I'm grateful for this chair because it's holding me up. But just being grateful.
Yeah, definitely, man. Gratitude, like I said, for me, gratitude is at the center of everything. Even the things that people find difficult, or if someone was looking at my life and they were watching me on reality TV and they were like, man, that's not ideal right there. That period was rough. Man, I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? Because it was a lot of lessons that I learned and a lot of character that helped shape and mold me, and those things I can pass on to my daughter so that she doesn't have to go through that. And the good things so that she can replicate that and then add her little twist so that things will be even better. And for anyone that's around me, man. So whether it's finances, man, whether it's food, whether it's just silence or whatever it is, I try to find something in everything that I'm grateful for. So I focus on just what I'm grateful for. And that becomes the only thing that I see. And that becomes the only thing that I attract. And once I started to think along the lines of that, all of the things that were going left slowly started to just fall off and turn into the things that were going right, one by one by one by one. So now I can't even afford to go back and think how I used to think. Now I can only continue to be grateful. My godfather would always tell me, what you do with the dollar is what you're going to do with a million. If you have habits with the dollar, don't think that because you have $1 million, you're going to have better spending habits. Your knowledge and how you carry yourself and your character is still the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what you have going on, is who you are as a person and as an individual. is what's really going to sustain or increase what it is that you have. And once you start to be grateful, you start to receive in abundance. And then you're able to give in abundance. You know what I mean? People are going to see you, man, he had a bad day. To me, that's a bad day. But for some reason, he's still happy. And I saw him last week and everything was bad. Now everything's all good. But he was happy when it was bad. And he looked like he's just as happy when it's good.
Yeah.
How you going to stop somebody like that? To me, I don't see there being a way. You can't. They can only stop themselves.
Unstoppable.
And if they really moving like that, they're not going to stop themselves.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You just going, and it's going to be the people that everything just falls in place. Everything just falls in place for you, James. And that's cool. That's fine. If that's what you think, hey, man, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. But you know what shift you had to make within yourself for your paradigm to change. Yeah. And that shit ain't easy.
It's not.
Nah.
Man, brother. Thank you for coming on the show, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Man.
I feel so good. I always feel good when I talk to you, man. I feel like I can go conquer the world because you're a way of work. Huh?
I said, take it over, man. Take it over.
Taking over, and I like what you said. If you have $1 and you don't, the way you use $1 is going to be the same thing you have $1 million. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes to how people that are stars and big names, they go bankrupt or they losing their money and all that kind of stuff because they don't know the value of taking care of what they need to take care of. Yeah. And then also a lot of times money, I will just say this on a side note, money is not the happiness. It can make you happy temporarily or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you don't feel that void with God, man, you're just going in a circle of feeling. That's why a lot of people that are rich, not a lot of people, but some people that are rich, they're depressed and they're going through different things because they think that money can fulfill that what they need, and it's not. It's a temporary pleasure for an eternal pain, and only God can go through that eternal pain and heal that. Yeah. So anyway, that was a side note, but
man, no, it's all good.
It's all gravy, bro. I thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. Of course, we'll be talking again in the future and all that kind of stuff, man. I know the people have enjoyed you. So don't be surprised they request you again.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
So yeah, man. But you take care of yourself, man. Of course, we're gonna be chatting it up and meeting and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate you coming on the show, Journey with James show, man. And I thank you for supporting. You always support me, man. Whether it be my first time producing or anything, you are a support, and I'm glad I can count on you, man. So thank you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man, for the same, man. I'm just a reflection of how you've been towards me, to be honest with you. You've been genuine from the beginning, man, so I have no choice but to be the same. Man, you know what I mean, man? Yeah. Nah, for real.
But it is. That's true.
Yeah.
You get what you get.
yeah, definitely, man. You show yourself to be more of a trusting person and people trust you. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Yeah. Same with you, man. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
All right, bro.
Turning into all God has for me. In the process, confronting fears. Letting go of worry. Investing in others. Embracing God's peace. Being completely me. It's my journey, the journey with James. Be encouraged, be motivated, be inspired.
Welcome back to the Journey with James. I thank you guys for continuing to watch here on episode number 3 of the show. And this is my segment I call My Journey, where I share something that will encourage your heart, something from my life, being transparent in some areas of my life. And today I want to talk about a special and it can be an uncomfortable topic to talk about, but it's very, very important that you guys know that I've dealt with rejection. And I know a lot of you people have dealt with rejection sometime in your life, some point in your life. But for me, it felt like it was a growing thing in my life, my entire life, from since I was a little boy. I received rejection from others, from adults that should have been in my life and different things like that. And it caused this rejection, and it caused it to matriculate in other areas of my life. And so I think that it's very important that we understand that a lot of our childhood has a lot to do with how we are as an adult. And so it's some things that may be bad or some things we may be going through, such as rejection, that we have to take hold of and be honest about and say, you know what? I deal with this, but what can I do about it that can help me? And one thing that I did about it is I believe in growth, and growth takes courage. And so I had the courage to go to therapy because of that. And I'm going to tell you something. Back in, it had been 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, I had a good friend, a valued friend, who told me, he said, I prayed and everything, and I felt God is leading me to tell you that you need to go through therapy. And when he first said it to me, I was like, I ain't going to no therapy. I ain't going to sit on nobody's couch. I ain't crazy. Man, my mind was all into what the world thought and what the world perceived at the time. And so I had to realize something, is that because you go to therapy doesn't make you weak. As a matter of fact, therapy it shows that you're strong because you're willing to do the work to better yourself. We should always strive to be better versions of ourselves. There should be no time where we stop doing that, because at the end of the day, you always think you arrive. Don't ever think you arrive, I should say, because you always have room to grow. And that's so important. And so one day I decided to take that leap of faith and go to therapy. And I remember that first day in therapy years ago, just pouring out crying on that couch, pouring out crying. And when I left there, I felt like some of the weight has been lifted on my shoulder. And it was the start of a journey of healing, the start of a journey of loving myself, a start of a journey of getting better self-esteem and better confidence about myself. It was a start of a journey improving who I am, James Wilkins. And so with that said, rejection had been one of the biggest things that I talked about. And so today, at my age, my ripe old age of 40 and young and feeling young and fabulous, I've experienced some rejection even in the last few weeks. And it's like, what in the world? What have I done? What's going on? Why did you reject me? If I'm not enough? Or what? You all think about all kinds of stuff when that happens. But what I had to realize in that moment, and this is what helped me in therapy, is that it's not necessarily me that's the problem. We got to realize that sometimes people go through their own things personally, and some things trigger them. And it may be something that triggered them that might necessarily be a bad thing on my end, but it triggered them nonetheless because of the things that they dealt with. And so just understanding that and comprehending that everybody's not going to be like me. Everybody's not going to be mature enough to have a conversation, mature enough not to just cut someone off. I had to understand that everybody is different. And it made me feel better about myself and not to hold on to being rejected and hold on to feeling like I'm not worthy of anything, friendship or whatever. I'm not worthy of it. I'm not worthy of having fun or, connecting with people. It made me feel better to understand that everybody is not me and that everybody goes through their own journey. And so it made me have a little compassion about it. Not saying that it was right, but I am saying that it helped me to understand that it's not always me. And so I want you guys to understand that because people reject you and cut you off for whatever reason, you haven't done anything wrong. And if you did, it hasn't been talked about. Just understand that it's not you. It's them. And it's okay. It's okay. It is them. Don't put it on yourself. Don't take it in for yourself and hold it on your back and be all depressed and woe is me. And I will say this, not that it didn't affect me for a little bit. It does. Sometimes it affects you for a little bit. But when you know and understand the process and understand that it's not you, it'll help you to get in a better place. And so for me, I dealt with it for a few hours and everything, maybe a few days. And I realized, wait a minute, I can't allow myself to get depressed and feel a certain way because of rejection. No, somebody's going to reject you sometime in life. I have to get myself back up and understand that it's not always me. It's about their journey in life and how they comprehend and what they accept and what they want. And so we just have to understand that, okay? And so I hope this has blessed you guys. I hope that it has resonated with you guys. And I hope I was transparent enough with this that you are able to identify with something that I say, because I know that I'm not alone in this and that we all have dealt with rejection one point in time in life. But I just want you guys to deal with rejection in a better way that's healthier for you and getting and moving forward and being okay? Because you are worthy, you are enough, you are special, and you should always remember that. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube at I'm saying my old show, but it's at The Journey with James. Look for The Journey with James on YouTube, and please like, subscribe, and please share this with your friends, and let's spread this journey on to other people, because we all come together, we can all be great together, and we can all improve our lives and be better versions of ourselves if we do this together, okay? So thank you guys for watching. Be sure if you want to see any of these old episodes of this particular show, you can go to www.journeywithjames.net. You can also get there's a prayer request form there if you want prayer, or if you want to just speak out on something's on your mind, please do so. And if you want to be a guest on the show, please write it up in that the form that's on the bottom of the page, and I will get back to you, and we can make some things happen. So thank you guys for joining me again. Remember to be encouraged. Remember to be inspired and motivated in this journey of life. Help somebody today. Speak positive to them. That's what it's all about, okay? God bless you guys, and join me again in the next edition of the Journey with James show. Take care, and God bless you.